Well, you mentioned him a few times. I feel like we should at least talk about the news that's out about Arn Anderson. It came out on Arn's podcast over on his show, which is I guess Saturday. Arn. It came out quote. I'm hanging on to the idea that Brock just hasn't had his second chance yet because of the rotation. I'm still under contract for about a year and a half. Brock about 6 months. I'm sure Tony struggles with it, trying to get everybody on there and get everybody rotated, but we're just hanging on. We don't want to do anything else. The key to this business is getting better with consistency and wrestling reps day after day, 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row. That's how you get better. And it's just not an opportunity to do that where we are now. I think a lot of people were pretty hyped a few years ago when we saw Brock Anderson make his debut, but it does feel like we've seen less and less of him. But that's kind of the same story you hear about a lot of folks on the AEW side of things. Is there such a thing as too big of a roster? And do you think Brock may be a victim of that right now?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I actually text Brock that the thing with Cody is what you're referring to.
Yeah, a couple years
Yeah,
back, yeah.
yeah, it's very hard. Here's the deal: it's very hard to be put in a position where you start on top. That's kind of what they did with David, right?
Yeah,
And he wasn't prepared. I thought Brock did a really good job, but I don't know. I guess Cody leaving and all that affected their situation, but it's definitely it's not. It's not, I can vouch for this because I've seen him twice now. It's not about his ability. It's like Arn said, to get in the reps. The reps aren't available, even though there's so many damn companies now, like there were before. You just can't get it unless you're in the ring, and hopefully, which is even harder to arrange, you've got to be in the ring with someone that knows what they're doing that you can learn from.
right.
It's very difficult, and like me and Steamboat, we kind of learned. I knew a little bit more than Steamboat, but trial and error. And how many times do you think I wrestled Ricky? 2,000 times.
Yeah, something crazy.
I mean, and the same with Sting. I was much more experienced when Sting came along, but still, for Sting to go out there and go 48 minutes, I mean, I looked at him afterward, and I said, I don't know what you just did, man. But you were tremendous. It's hard to go out there and go 48 minutes the first time you've done it. Believe me, I can tell you the list of guys that I've known that can't do it, that imply they can. Wow. Please, an hour is an hour. 48 minutes is 48 minutes. And Steamboat and I did a lot of 90s. Where do those even factor in anymore?
Right.
So I just, yeah, but Brock, I mean, Brock shouldn't be down on himself. Arn shouldn't, should just hope that, that he gets gets more opportunities. But it's hard. It's an incredibly hard business. And I'll tell you what, it's even harder when your dad is really good,
Mm,
like Arn was, right?
yes,
So these are the conversations I like talking about the most. It's hard to be Arn Anderson's son.
I'm
It's
sure.
hard to be my son. It's hard to be Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte is the exception to the rule because she is flown by everybody, myself included. I mean, you know how I feel about her. I think you would pretty much agree. Um, but it's just hard to. How many fathers, I mean, parents, ever have that opportunity to see their child come along and grow and exceed everything you ever imagined? It's heat. When you're so damn good, it's heat. It's like Stephen A. said this morning because LeBron's kid debuted or played basketball, high school basketball last night against Carmelo's, and Stephen A. Smith said he didn't want to follow too closely because of all the LeBron haters. And if you're good at something, you're going to have people hate you because people hate when you're good or better than them.
right.
I mean, they just do. You don't think there's people jealous of you with your position, Conrad?
Yeah, listen, I see the hate online for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the problem. You have to look past it.
Yeah,
You have to forget it.
I heard something a few years ago I really like. What anyone else thinks of me is none of my business. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. No, but I'm just saying. But that's what the more popular you get, you're scrutinized. But who are we scrutinized by?
Right.
I mean, I'll tell you, Hulk can scrutinize me. You can scrutinize me. Austin can. Taker can. Steamboat can. I was just thinking about Brock, and I think I swear people ask me all the time, and literally, I hear it a couple times a week. Will ask me what they advise, especially if I'm signing autographs and young kids want to know about wrestling. I wish that if he had the opportunity to entertain the thought of letting Brock go to NXT, because until they get a farm program like at AEW, I don't know that he'll ever find the reps. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
At least at NXT, you get a chance. Like I said, they got 100 kids there. Maybe 2 will make it, but it costs a lot of money to do that.
For sure.
But to find the 2 that make it, that make a company all that money back, and to make themselves a lot of money. So
Well, I know we both think a lot of Brock, and we're pulling for him,
yeah,
and, I'm
it,
anxious to see how this all shakes out, man. It feels like there's gonna be a lot of moving and shaking on both sides here in the
yeah,
future,
yeah,
and Brock is so young, man, and
yeah.
I'll
I know.
tell you, I didn't really understand because he hasn't been given a lot of quote unquote "mic time," but he had such a presence when we did the interview for your documentary. We
I
actually
said it. He stole it.
we sent the raw footage of that, over and shared it because I just wanted to make sure that sort of the powers that be knew, man, this dude, he's, that did not skip a generation.
Yeah,
Arn's a great promo, and so is Brock.
yeah. And if he's half as witty as I haven't been around him enough, but if he's half as witty as Hearn, he should be talking full time for somebody right now. Because
Well,
believe me, there's a lot of guys on TV that cannot, that should just need to be there and let somebody do this talking for them. Jesus.